want me in there?
No.
Tag me in, coach.
Positive. Hey guys, it's the Chad, your C10 truck nerd. Well, today I'm back down at my cousin's shop to work on his 1966 Chevy Bel Air 4-door that had been sitting in a barn for over 40 years. Now when he brought this thing home, the paint was pretty well trashed. It was scratched, it was stained, and it was just pretty much scorched. So we went through and cleaned it up with our soap-filled SOS pads, taking off the oxidation and the surface rust. And then we spent all day cutting and buffing this thing. And we utilized Wizards products. They make some Mystic Cut, and we used their scratch and swirl remover kits to go through and make this thing look like glass. Now the final step in the process would be to go through and protect it with some wax, but Garrett and I, we want some more longevity. You know, we don't want to have to wax this thing every 3 months or so. So we've decided to go through and ceramic coat 59-year-old patina paint. And we're not sure how this is going to turn out, but I don't know. Just stick around to see if this is a huge success or a big failure. All right, so like I said, Garrett and I spent all day cleaning this thing up, and we have it shining like glass, which I was amazed by. We used the Mystic Cut and just used Wizard's Scratch and Swirl Remover Kit, which is their SSR. So it was just changing pads using the same product, but we want to go through and make this stay shiny. The last step in their process would have been using a nano wax to protect it, but Garrett wanted way more longevity, and he says, why don't we ceramic coat it? And I'm like, okay. I wasn't really familiar with ceramic coating, so.
I've done it before. I've had another vehicle. It was actually a brand new Dodge Charger that was fully ceramic coated. It has the slickest and just brightest paint I've ever seen in my life, and it's just, it won't scratch, you know? It's kind of amazing. Now, granted, you can scratch anything, but it's such a robust coating on it, and it lasts for such a long time, especially when you wash it and then you use the detail spray that comes with it. Adds just a little bit more ceramic coating to it, so it just keeps this going forever.
Yeah, I'd reached out to Mark with Wizards and I said, hey, what's your thoughts on us ceramic coating a 59-year-old original single-stage patina paint with rust? And he's like, oh, I don't know, sounds like a cool thing to test out. So that's what we're gonna try to go through and do. But like Garrett said, it's basically a liquid polymer that is going through and dries hard, and it gives you that hydrophobic layer just so everything just wipes off of here clean, and it gives you that UV protection too. So I'm pretty excited to see how this is gonna turn out. It's gonna be really cool or really bad, but
no, it's not gonna be bad. Honestly, this will go on just about everything that you put it on. And like you said, it's a film that gets put onto it. So you're going to really notice it whenever you go to wash that car. Again, it's just incredibly slick. And then if you have bugs on there, they just wipe right off.
Yeah, the Wizards, they say this will last 3 years. That's on the low side of it. It just kind of depends if you're parked outside all the time, dirt road living, how often you run it through a car wash, things like that. But I think Garrett parking his stuff indoors, he's probably going to get...
It'll be a lifetime coating.
Yeah, like I said, you just go through and touch it up with the spray. But we'll open it up, show you what comes in their kit, and really for under 200 bucks, you can do this yourself instead of paying $1,500 for a professional detailer or a company to go through and do it. So let's check it out.
Yep, and you don't have to do it every few months.
Yes. So this is the kit that we got, and then, like I said, it runs just under 200 bucks, but it comes with the applicator pads, also comes with the ceramic coat liquid itself, but this is the important part. You have to have this pre-coat cleaner, because if you're gonna have that chemical bond, you have to get all the greases and oils off of there, or the stuff will not work right. And I think that's why a lot of people fail with their ceramic coat systems, is they aren't cleaning the paint like they should. And then this is the ceramic coat detailer that you would go back and touch things up with. But you got the rubber gloves, you got the microfiber towels. I mean, we'll go through and put 2 coats on here. It's about a 2 to 4 minute flash time. Then we'll level it out, let it dry for an hour, and then come back with the second coat. But ready to do this?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, I'm excited. All right, so like I said, this is the most important step, is going through and degreasing this car. You're just taking any waxes, oils, Chad's fingerprints that keep touching the car over and over again. But if you don't do this, you won't get that chemical bond that you need. Another thing is, if you got a aircraft carrier like Garrett's car here, this bottle may or may not be enough, but I talked to Mark at Wizards and he says you can use 50-50 rubbing alcohol mixed with water, and that'll work too, or any other degreasers. Doing a great job, Garrett.
I always do.
So Garrett went through and bought a bunch of microfiber towels. Where at Costco.
Costco.
So these are things, don't be stingy with it. When you go through and clean this off, like we've just been going through and folding this into quarters. Use it for a panel, fold it to the next quarter. That way you're just not smearing stuff around. And one thing I got to be careful with is leaning my knees and legs and stuff into the panels that I've already done. So just make sure you're not inducing more grease onto it when you're trying to get it off. So Garrett's going through and hitting the car with some compressed air, going through and getting rid of any of those microfiber little fuzzies on there. Anywhere where you had rust pockets too, where it's prone to get fabric or some of our pads stuck to it, you want to make sure you get that out of there, because we're going to trap things. All right, so Garrett's going to go through, he's going to be applying the ceramic coat liquid. Once it flashes after that 2 to 4 minutes or so, or gets that rainbow effect, I'm going to come back in and level things out with the provided Wizards microfiber towels there. So let's get this thing going.
Sounds good. One other note real quick. If you touch your face with your gloves, you're going to transfer oils to that. And then if you touch the car, you're going to put it on the car. So we went through and used that same alcohol mix to clean our gloves first. And we're just going to be mindful not to touch our faces or arms or whatever.
Try my best.
How's it come out?
Like that. Can you see it coming out?
No.
It's coming out all over the place.
It is not.
Yes, it is.
A little bit.
No.
All right. See what happens.
So first off, Garrett's to go through and put 10 drops of the ceramic coat on the leading edge of his applicator. He's going to work both directions, north, south, east, west, to ensure he's getting complete overlap as he does this. That's a nice little mitten you got there, buddy.
I like it. Almost gets all 4 of my fingers in there.
It's hard because it's so shiny to see that it's wet. But it's wet. So one thing Garrett noticed is he puts this on the exposed rust, it darkens it up, which is kind of the look we're going for. You know, there's a lot of companies out there to try to preserve this patina, like Poppy's Patina or Sweet Patina, using their patina sauce. But again, it's kind of a temporary thing, but I'm really excited just to see how this ceramic coat preserves this rust. But it looks really good so far. Now, as Garrett's gone through and done this, he's applying it a section at a time, like a half a hood, half a trunk lid, a fender, a door. That gives you about enough time, the 2 to 4 minutes, for this to flash, and then I can come back and level it off with the microfiber. It's really hard to see. The paint's so shiny. About another minute. The big deal is to not let this dry. Don't take a phone call. Don't run to the house to go do something. You want to get this leveled out while it's still damp, or you're going to run into some problems.
Got Jiminy Cricket back there.
No kidding.
He's noisy.
Did you just do the lid, or did you do?
I did the front to start with.
Up here?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know, what do you call that thing?
Filler panel?
Let's go with that.
All right, I don't have my skin on the side, so. So basically, I'm just barely putting any pressure on here. It's just to level it out, not to wipe any excess off, or not to wipe it off. It would just take any high spots or anything that potentially would have pooled onto the paint.
This lays out pretty darn evenly too. You'll see it, do this in a a well-lit area. And that going in two different directions really smooths it out.
Yeah, their tutorial on YouTube, they go through and they're doing it on black paint, so it's really nice to be able to see where you're going on that black. But again, having two people to do this is probably a big benefit, because as he's putting it on, he doesn't have to take the mid off, go back to the microfiber. We can just kind of tag team this, and it speeds the process up big time. Even though this car is still huge.
It's big.
It's a land yacht. I really want to touch my face and I almost do it, and then I stop. It's very shiny like.
Do you think it's shinier? I don't think it's shinier.
No.
It's just...
I don't see as many scratches, so I think it's filling those in.
Stuff lays down nice too.
Smooth. You can definitely see the difference on that roof line though. I can see it from...
Yeah, I think so. It's shinier.
It's way shinier. That gives you a good reference for sure. So what we were talking about is, does it make it shinier? And I don't know if the camera, yeah, you can see it on there. So basically, we've done the driver's side of the roof line, and it gives it that way slicker, more slickery look on there. So it's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, once it flashes, then I'm just wiping her down.
Gently
Wiping it down, but it looks really good so far, except for that rusty part there, but that's just cool. So we got the first coat applied. I've leveled everything off. We're gonna let it dry at least for an hour now, and we can come back and do our second coat. But it's almost blinding in here under light, so I like it. Alrighty, so we've let this dry for about an hour and a half or so, grabbed some lunch, and we've picked up on a few things. We can see some distinct overlap marks into the ceramic coating, and Garrett, I think, has got it figured out what we've done wrong.
Well, and there's some of this that we can kind of see the streak marks of it, and realistically, I think we're waiting too long to use the microfiber pad or towel after the application of it. These marks right here are my overlap marks, and I know that you're supposed to overlap, you know, from one section to the other section, but it must be setting up just too darn fast before we get to putting
before we wipe it down.
Basically,
it'd take him about 7-8 minutes, probably, maybe longer, to get that whole roof line done. So I was waiting until he was completely out of the way, and then I would wipe it all at once. And I think the problem is, like you said, is you can see that hazing right there, but it was probably already set, and time I brought the wet, it was into the dry, and it was too late. So learning lessons. So again, having two people we thought would be the fix, but we're still going probably too slow, so we're just gonna have to hustle this time around.
Yep, we'll see if this next layer, and that may be why they put 2 layers on, is to help fill in the ridges from the first layer.
Well, again, learning lesson, you know. Mark with Wizards just said, hey, try this stuff out. Tell us what you think. He ain't paying us anything to go through and give positive reviews. He wants to know, does this stuff work on old Patina or not?
I can tell you it's very shiny.
It is very shiny, and I think this one was operator errors, not...
I guarantee that.
...product failures. So we'll get this second coat on and see how it turns out. We're gonna speed this wipe down time, so I'm actually watching my clock. So he's going a little faster, and I'm gonna be right behind him. Well, give it a few minutes, but faster than before. Alrighty, so we've gone through, we got that second coat on, we've leveled everything out, and now we just have to be patient and wait, which is really hard for he and I. We just want to.
It's tough because there's a few areas that look a little bit scuffy, and he's standing too close to the car right now.
I'm not touching it.
It's scaring me, right? Anyway, and you can't help but want to do something with those, and we talked to
Mark at Wizards, and he says, hey, just be patient with it, you know, let it dry for at least 8 hours. You know, this vehicle isn't supposed to be around water for about 12 hours anyway. He said, just be patient. You've got up to 8 days until this fully cures. So if we need to make some corrections with nano wax or something like that, we can. But he just said, quit touching it, let her go. So we're going to wait it out.
A lot of that will probably settle out, and he said you're going to be just surprised at how much shinier it is tomorrow than it is right now.
Yeah, so we thought we messed up, but he said no. Between coat 1 and 2, it kind of reactivates itself, the ceramic coat. So
they all bond together.
Yep, I think we'll be just fine. So we're going to call it for today. Let this start cooking a little bit more, and we'll be back tomorrow or maybe 2 days and see how this thing turned out.
Well, I think we've figured out what our installation error was on this ceramic coat. And it has to do with when we were wiping it off. And of course, it wasn't me that was doing that. That was the guy behind the camera. Yep. Anyway, he wasn't using much pressure at all. We read the instructions and it said just gently basically wipe it over to level it out. I think what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to apply it, and you're supposed to leave it for the specified period of time, and then you're supposed to literally wipe it off. The paint, as far as I understand, can only grab so much of this stuff. So you need to get it off before you move on to the next section. We weren't getting it off, and therefore every section that I would do would overlap into the previous section and make kind of a milky spot. We weren't taking all of it off, and then the whole thing kind of got a little bit milky as well. So I'm going back with the nano wax and a yellow pad and basically polishing this thing out. I don't think that I'm taking all of this ceramic coat off, but I am taking kind of the surface layer off. It is making it a lot flatter. It's getting rid of all of that milkiness, and it is shining extremely bright.
So yeah, this guy was the one in charge of wiping, and I'm obviously not a good wiper. So I was using these more like kind of like a chamois or the water bandit, and I was just kind of pulling it, and I had no pressure on there, which I think was the big problem. So that screwed things up. So that caused us to have a little bit of haze in that second coat, and probably that was the reason with his overlap marks that the first coat was screwed up too. So this guy.
That's how you learn, right? It's not a big deal. We can always, if we need to, take it all the way off and start completely over, but I don't think that we have to do that in this case. This yellow pad plus the nano wax is cutting what I need off of it. Granted, we're only, about 24, 25 hours after applying, so this is not fully cured yet. I'm not dwelling on all of this. I'm just doing it enough to get it clear again.
Yeah, we should be using the gray finishing pad to start with. You know, start at the bottom and work your way up aggressiveness wise. But I took the pads home with me yesterday too, so we don't have those. That's why we're starting with yellow. So again, screw up. Well, I won't lie. When I got home the other night, I was completely frustrated that I screwed up our ceramic coating, and more than likely it was my fault. You know, the first coat, I think we let it flash and it sat too long before I came back and wiped it off. And then the second coat, I know I wasn't using enough pressure. It said use gentle pressure to level things out. I wasn't using any. I was kind of just dragging it across the paint like kind of like a chamois. And I think that's why it kind of streaked and came out that milky or cloudy feel, because I screwed it up. Now I do want to give Wizards a fair shake, so I do have another almost 60-year-old C10 bedside. It's single stage, white patina paint like the car, and it is also filthy. So I'm gonna run through the same process of hitting it with my soap-filled SOS pad. We'll cut it and buff it with the Mystic, and then we'll go back through and we'll put another couple coats of ceramic on here, but we're gonna do it in two sections. One, the way I think you should apply it, and two, the way I put it on Garrett's car with very minimal pressure, and I think we're gonna see a much more positive result. You can see this this paint isn't much better than the Bel Airs are, but see a difference there with the soap-filled SOS pads again. So we'll get the buffer back out, start hitting this with the misting. Alrighty, so I've got the first Mystic cut down with the microfiber, and man, I'm already bringing the shine out of this white like crazy. A little bit different than what it looked like before, so we'll go through and polish it real quick, and man, just love this stuff. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is Wizards has this club called Lil Shine Masters, and it's basically to go through and encourage kids to get out in the garages, start working on these hot rods. And kiddo here, she's gonna have her first opportunity to run the big throw here, so do it like I showed you, kid. A little slower. There you go. Man, I tell you, this Mystic is incredible. So all I did was about 6 passes of the Mystic cut with the microfiber and about 4 passes. And kiddo helped me out too with the yellow polishing pad. So we're not gonna use the finishing pad again. We're just gonna come back and prep it with the ceramic coat pre-cleaner, and then we're ready to go. Alrighty, so I got both sides taped off. We'll put the correct way, or at least the way I think we should do it, over here on the right. We'll do it the way I did it on Garrett's car on the left, and basically that's the original junkie side. But look at that shine. It's good stuff. Alrighty, so it's gonna be just like we did at Garrett's. It's gonna be 10 quick drops to get the applicator wet, and then I'm gonna go through, let it sit for 2 to 4 minutes. I've got a timer over here, so I'm gonna be quicker and much more aggressive on getting this wiped off. So here we go. It is about, I'd say 70, maybe 73 degrees in here. Man, this is so slick already. So I've got this side done. So I'm gonna, once I get this done here, I'm gonna jump right over to the next section. So about the time I get this middle one done, then hopefully that'll flash. Whoa. And I can get back over to this one. All right, I've got my towel quartered. I've got the rainbow effect happening. So instead of just going through and doing the drag like I did before, I'm actually gonna go through and start wiping this off. Gentle pressure, but I am leveling it out. And I can tell you, this was my mistake before. Good gracious. Now you know, it's just immediately shinier just by doing this. Dang it. All right, well, we're still gonna test out this panel here, so I'm gonna do the wipey action like I did before, kind of with like the chamois feel. So basically what I was doing was just dragging it slowly, just trying to get a consistent thickness of this film. But dang it, yep, I can already see it's streaky when I'm doing this. Now you know. Well, fiddle. Alrighty, so I've let this dry for a little over 2 hours, so let's check out our results. Well, I can pretty much confirm that I screwed up Garrett's car, because this first coat, where I was light with the pressure, just like his car, has all this haze or this milky look to it with streaking compared to the side that I buffed off. So it looks like glass. I'm guessing it's the way it should look compared to, whoops. But I'm gonna go ahead and put that second coat on just to see how bad that looks compared to how good this probably will turn out. Well, coat number 2 is dried overnight and it looks terrible. It's just like I did on Garrett's car. It's got all this streaking, hazing, it's milky looking because I just didn't use enough pressure buffing this stuff off. If you look on the right side where I did it the correct way, it looks like glass. There's not a streak one in it. It's just so dang shiny, but yeah, now we know. Well, at least we can confirm we didn't have some type of product failure. It was all due to operator error, which is fine, guys. That's why I'm making these videos. If I'm screwing stuff up, hopefully you guys are learning from my mistakes. And I think that's kind of why Wizards wants people out there testing their products, because they don't know how it's gonna react to every single type of paint at every different age in its lifespan. So I think it's pretty cool, but I tell you, their 9/8 ceramic coat's some pretty amazing stuff. If it's applied correctly, there's no reason to go out and spend $1,500 to $3,000 at a professional detail shop when you could do it right here in your own garage for less than $200. Now, even though I made some mistakes on this side and on Garrett's Bel Air, we were able to go through and add a couple more steps and polish it back out with the Mystic cut, and we got some phenomenal results. So we'll jump back over to his house, give you a full walk around so you can see how that Bel Air turned out. All right, well, we've got this ceramic coat all wrapped up. We added a few steps because we don't know what we're doing.
That's the price of education, folks. It's either money or time or both, and yeah, it was something here.
Yeah, that's right. Well, big shout out to Mark with Wizards for letting us go through and test their products out on 59-year-old patina paint. They didn't know how it would react. We had no clue, but I think the ending result is just spectacular. It's your car, what do you think?
I never dreamt that it could be possible that this shines so much with the original paint, especially from the day that I drug it home. It looked pitiful.
It really did, but you know, using the right products, following the steps, I was very happy all the way through using the scratch and swirl remover with the Mystic cut to get everything shining first off, and then to do the ceramic coat. That was a good call by Garrett to try to get more longevity. I would have just waxed it, and you know, a few months later, we'd had been doing it again and again and again. So this gives me some excitement that we may be doing this on some of my old C10s now too. So
I guarantee I've got a fleet of them that are going to get basically the whole same treatment. Plus, over here I've got an El Camino that has base clear, but it's all scratched up. So this is honestly the perfect thing for it.
Yeah, this is great to test this out. And again, if you guys are interested in any of the products we use throughout this series, you can go check out the links in my description below. That'll take you right to Wizards through Amazon. You can get the stuff more than likely the next day on that end there. But we're not done with the Wizards quite yet. You know, Garrett's got some aluminum wheels on here. I'd really want to go through and test their metal polish and metal refine on that. And I've got a couple sets of wheels that I want to try to restore completely. So I just love testing new products out. This is great partnership with Wizards, working with them just to see what we can do with old junk. Well, if you guys haven't, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you come back. These two idiots right here, we have no idea what's gonna happen from week to week, but
There's going to be a lot, I can tell you that.
Ceramic coating, 59-year-old paint. That was not on my radar.
It's good to do, though. Well, friends, I don't remember what Chad says at this point.
I forgot. Oh yeah, guys, we appreciate your time and thanks for watching.
Stay challenged, my friends.
You are challenged.
Yeah!